Oh, good evening, everybody. It's another one of them good episodes of the Smooth Experience, and it brings me pleasure to be able to bring you this episode tonight because I just love doing these now every day, and it's starting to become like a cool little documentary for me, or like a little video log. And at the same time, we get to see how these cryptos evolve. And on the Smooth Experience, we talk about anything that interests me, so it doesn't mean that it has to include cryptos. Say that in all my videos, but that's what it's been lately, and I think that's what it's going to be for a while. So, anyways, we're going to get right into it. First of all, I think this is kind of surprising. Newsbtc.com, they ended up creating something. They ended up putting up an article on the internet talking about how there is this thing called Silverfill, Silverfill energy drink. And basically, if you get this Silverfill energy drink, like you can end up getting it at a discount, and you can also earn money if you're holding AMG tokens. So I think this is pretty cool because AMG is now getting into the crypto game, and what they're doing is they're doing it in a pretty smart way, where they're trying to um, basically sell coins at a discount to get funding for this energy drink. And then when you get it, each token is backed by one silver fill can at a discount to the market price. So when you buy tokens at different stages, you get privileges, and you can always exchange tokens for cans at a price lower than the market price, which is especially profitable for retailers. So I think that's pretty interesting. Minimum participation, token sale, one package of silver filled drinks. Um, I don't know how many that's in there, but I think that's pretty interesting. And I think this is one of the beginning ways that we're going to see cryptocurrencies change uh, just funding of companies in general in the future. They're going to offer tokens not only for like certain drinks, but they're going to offer tokens for like certain access to things. We're going to see I can't wait to see like so Wu Tang is already starting to rap about it. I can't wait till they start to release a cryptocurrency where they say, "Yo, we could do whatever we want with this currency." So why not let people that are holding Tang coin or Wu coin, they'll probably call it Wu coin. You know what I'm saying? Kill a B coin. That'd be fresh. But say that they release Killer B coin and they were like, hey, anybody that's down and that's holding Killer B coin can get backstage to our shows, or they could get extra tracks, they could get extra downloads, whatever, man. Like people could do whatever they want with this stuff, and right now it's still not regulated, and I'm trying to help people comprehend that like this is something that is transcendent of regulation. I was speaking today to some people about how it's hard for us to try to regulate such a new technology if we come at it from a mindset that was dependent on capitalism. So if we come from it with our hearts and our minds in an area of capitalism, we are going to use this cryptocurrency the same way that we have used every currency before it, and we will learn nothing from this, and it will become regulated, and there will be certain cryptocurrencies that will be approved while other currencies will get you thrown in jail, which I'll show you in just a moment. And because of that, that's something that we have to end up looking at. We have to uphold this in a beautiful manner, in a beautiful way, with our hearts open and our third eyes open. And if we can see that we can uphold this currency with such honor that this planet has been waiting for, it's never seen before, then we will see that regulation just isn't necessary. It's a nice idea, but if we're doing this in a very honorable manner, then it's not going to be necessary. We're going to regulate ourselves. It's going to make us autonomous. And anyways, I just go off on that all the time, but AMG Can't believe that. AMG tokens. Get those if you want to get super fill cans. I think that's pretty interesting that they're making cryptocurrencies with energy drinks, and Mercedes is getting in on the game. Um, let's see. CoinDesk. Can't remember what I had up for this. Next. Oh yeah, IMF. They could issue international cryptocurrencies to replace the dollar. That's what they've been thinking about, and that's what they've been talking about. And I think that that's pretty interesting. I think that's pretty um, innovative, and I definitely think that it's worth something to think about, guys. What would Here's some of our homework tonight, just to think about as we did after we disconnect. Uh, what would it be like if the IMF decided, and the IMF, for anybody that's watching and doesn't know, is the International Monetary Fund. They're basically the the, the end all be all regulating body that regulates countries internationally around the world with what they're going to do with their currencies as well as other things. But they call themselves the International Monetary Fund because they are the pretty much the central bank of the world. There's no other way to say it, and they've been trying to position themselves that way. And I'll just say this, guys, is that it's up to us to end up using these cryptocurrencies in a good way, because what would happen if the International Monetary Fund decided to introduce IMF coin or Earth token or something like that? First of all, what would be the detriments to that, and then what would be the benefits to that? Just think about that as your homework. Global currency, like everybody's into this thing. It's like a global currency craze. Everybody wants to get these cryptocurrencies. The IMF is definitely talking about it. And you know what I think is cool is that Christine Lagarde, head of the IMF, she's been really getting on my good side lately. She's been talking a lot about the just how cryptocurrencies are going to be here for a while. They're definitely part of the future. They're something that we should take heed of. And I could say that she is probably a big voice in a lot of the meetings here at the IMF. And, speaking for us, speaking for the world. And she might be a big voice saying, like, hey, you guys, we should definitely take some notes on this and see what's going on. And I don't know, what would happen if we introduced our own token? Shoot, Mercedes is getting their game on with it. Why not? Why can't we do it too? What would happen if they did that and it replaced the dollar? That's pretty interesting. Next, 7 arrests for trading Bitcoin, but not in Russia, in Nepal. So this is kind of sad, guys. This is actually something that kind of like gets me sad and a little disgusted in a way, just because National Bank of Nepal stated that Bitcoin exchange operations are illegal. Okay, why? Explain why. Help me figure out why. And if you can help me figure out why, then I might be able to end up agreeing with it. But as it is right now, all I'm hearing is that it could stop terrorism. It could stop fraudulent activity. I don't care, man. Fraudulent activity is going to happen with every currency that's ever been out there. It's going to happen with Bitcoin. It's not perfect. There are going to be future cryptocurrencies that are going to come out that aren't perfect. Fraudulent activity is there. Fraudulent activity is meant to go on so that way honorable activity can take place in the public and take place transparently. And so that's why we have to have fraudulent activity. It's going to always be part of the system. It's just there. We live in a duality. If I have to get, like basic about it, we live in a duality and we're there. Like we always have to have the other side of the coin so that way we can know how to use this coin right. If we were to speak about coin, it's pretty cool, huh? So, but what's not cool is people getting arrested in Nepal, man. And this is what I was talking about earlier in the video. Is that like this is just not cool. It says that if arrested, persons found guilty under the current laws of Nepal Central Bank has declared Bitcoin illegal, they will be punished. Okay, please, guys, help us help us understand like why we're punishing our brothers and sisters for using their currency. I'm sorry. Just help me figure that out, please. And I only think that what it really comes down to is that the people in these central banks are losing their power, and this is how they're going to try to fight back. They're going to spread FUD. You're going to see, if you haven't seen that all over the internet, you'll see it as well. I'll help you with it right now. If you don't already know what it is, it's FUD. It's called fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You may also hear me call it effed up disinformation because there's lots of acronyms for it. But in Nepal, they're spreading this fear, uncertainty, and doubt amongst their people. And they're basically following suit. If China, guess what? It's going to be like cutting the head off of a Hydra. You're just going to make Bitcoin hotter. You're just going to make Bitcoin better, baby. And so, like, what I'm trying to say is you might as well just participate and let this thing happen. And these central banks might as well just kind of like start to fade back into the background. Just might as well, man. Just because like we're all trying to unify here, and we all recognize that we're about to run out of planetary resources if we don't end up trying to get together and uniting on something like a cryptocurrency. Never before have we been so united, guys, that I've been able to send my money across the whole planet to donate to something. That's empowering. If I'm in Nepal and I start to use Bitcoin, it's going to be hard for me to go back to using that currency. When I'm in China and I'm able to participate in the ICOs in America, and ICOs in Brazil, and ICOs in Greenland, and ICOs in, it doesn't matter. I'm just able to buy these tokens and hold it. That's amazing. I've been saying, guys, that like currency in an esoteric form, it's an external representation of a person's internal value. It's an I'll just say it again because it's so important. It's so important for us to know this, because when we know this, we don't just say it, but we know it. We're able to make better decisions with our currency. So I'll say it again. Currency and money is an external representation of a person's internal value. And it's not all of it by any means, because there's way more value inside here than there can ever be externally represented. Like, duh, right? But what I'm trying to say is that, like, when I put my hard-earned time and money into a coin, that's me making a statement that says that I value this coin. I value the things that are happening behind it. And that's what I want you guys to do too, is when you look at these coins and you look at what they're doing, don't look at how much money it's going to simply. Look at it for the value behind it and what it's providing to things, providing to people. Look for longevity there and try to end up investing in coins that will provide value to the planet, because that's where we're going to evolve so much faster, to the point where we don't even need to be worrying about how much money we're going to get off these things, because we're all going to have things. We're all going to have enough. So this is just sad, you know, and all I can do is I can only feel compassion for the Israeli district court, because these guys really need to comprehend what these cryptocurrencies can do for them. So please, if anybody's watching this that's near them, help them comprehend this, because it's going to help everybody in Tibet participate in the game, because right now they're being taken out of the game by their government, and we're going to see other governments do this as well, and who knows, even the US may need this. So I'm trying to send out that proactive call right now to saying, let's help these people in Tibet, because at some point we may need that help. No matter what country you're watching this from right now, we may need that at some point, so let's help them right now. Let's help the people in China. How can we do this? Get creative, but start to use your BTC, your funds, to send it across the network to help these people in whatever fashion they need. There's other things out there that need help too, guys. That courts, that governments to other things just simply will never be able to help. And it makes me emotional because we have to help Venezuela, we have to help Puerto Rico, we have to help these other things out there right now because it's the only way we'll make it through. And we're going to need them when we are going through some problems. What goes around comes around. So that's all I need to say, man, is that like they're getting terrorized by their government in Tibet right now because their government is just simply missing the understanding. There's just a gap of education there that we have to fill. So if you're there, if you're near there, please just help your government out. I ain't gonna get all emotional on this, but you already know how I feel about it, and this is gonna be great for me to look back at because I'm coming from my heart, and that's how we have to represent this stuff, guys. Chinese investors, that's what they're saying right here. The government doesn't understand anything about Bitcoin, and that's because right now they're trying to give out a supervision strategy. This is what I've been talking about on this channel, is that the Chinese government shut down the exchanges to make a short-term move so that way they can comprehend what cryptocurrencies are, but it's backlashing and it's making people create all of these workarounds and all of these better networks. And now the government isn't even up on that. So now the government is missing out on what the people are doing to evolve this cryptocurrency because they actively tried to push their people out of it. That's how dangerous it is to not try to participate in this and try to push people away from it, because it evolves so fast that I am only giving you a tiny sliver of the news right now. So anyways, back to the point. They shut it down, and now what they're doing is they're going to allow certain exchanges that are going to agree and be hand in hand, pretty much in bed with the Chinese government, where the Chinese government is going to be allowed to track every transaction on these exchanges. The Chinese government is going to give out licenses to those exchanges. And like, guys, like, I know that what I'm speaking about right now is very broad and debatable, and if there's anything that you can correct me on, I don't mind being corrected on. Like, shoot me a comment. I love being able to get updates on this because it's evolving so fast that how do we even know that this is what's up? You know what I mean? How do I know how obsolete this is, even if it is completely 100% true? But all I know is that in the markets, it has been falling, and it's because China needs to be participating. And once we can get participation back on game, back on point, then we're all playing the game. But they're trying right here. They're saying that there's a supervision strategy. So the ones that are going to the exchanges that are going to participate with the government are going to get licenses from the government to continue on. Our government in the U.S. may follow suit. There's other governments around the world that are going to try to do the same thing because those governments still want to have power over their people. But as we're seeing, the people are evolving faster than the governments because they're able to express their internal value externally through currency. So that's what I'm trying to say, is we're able to govern ourselves, and with that, we don't need any licenses to spend our money. Thank you very much. I understand and I appreciate that governments want to end up coming and stepping in and trying to say that they want to stop the terrorism, but I politely would like to decline it at this time. I will ask for the help when I need it, and I'm not afraid to ask for the help. That's because I want to govern myself with this stuff. I have lost money with it. There have been people that have seen me lose money on this channel with this stuff. It's okay. I might lose money again. I'm alright with that. I don't need to end up having the government protect me from that. I'll ask them when I want it. It's pretty much my stance on this. I'm not saying that I'm hating on it. I'm saying that I'm still neutral with it. But with that, let me just show you this. Next, how blockchain is going to pave the way for more autonomous governance. This is what I'm talking about, guys. The referendum vote for independence of Catalonia has adversely affected the stock market of Spain in October. Like right now, this is happening. The affected indexes of the IBEX, which registered a 15-month low, the Spanish government bond yields, however, increased almost 2%. So what's happening right now in Catalonia is there's a lot of different uncertainty that's happening. Look up more of this about this, but that's not what I'm trying to talk about. What I'm trying to talk about, well, actually, look at this. I do you want to read this? How New Catalonia could rely on blockchain to govern itself. The growing use of cryptocurrencies could help drive the success of secessionist movements around the world, as digital currencies can be used by separatist states to finance their own governments by digitizing public sector processes and systems, including national identity, voting, and even healthcare. So, this is what's amazing. The rise of virtual currencies could also be a sign that the long awaited alternative to the US dollar as the global de facto currency has already arrived. And I've talked about it on this channel before about how blockchain is affecting healthcare. There's positives and negatives to that. There's everything is a double-edged sword in life. And so like we have to end up looking at this consciously as we move forward. And that's pretty much what I was wanting to get at, is that like right now there are things in Catalonia that are not going to be able to be governed by the current government that's there. If we break down the word government, it government, govern is Latin for control, ment is Latin for mind, Greek for mind. And like when you study that, you see that it's control for the mind. So there's a body of people that feel that they need to control the mind of the public. And that was good for a certain amount of time while we weren't able to communicate with each other. We needed centralized places to go to where we could see and ask people, hey, what's going on here? We need the help. And until our species got to this point where we're at now, we needed that. But I think now the internet, and especially blockchain, is in the most friendly way showing all of us that we can govern ourselves. We can add all of our own value to each blockchain, whichever blockchains we value. And those will be the blockchains that survive going forward. It sounds basic to some of us, but to some of us, we really need to hear these things, because this is how we can see going forward what we need to do to express what we value. You guys, do you value water? Then get into some coins that end up backing up the resources around water. Do you value the ecology? Do you value the system of biology for nature and plants and animals? Get into coins that are going to come out that are going to support those things. Talking about, and this is where again District 0x. It's like I'm almost like pumping this up, right? But this is something that's pretty interesting. This is a coin that's thinking ahead. It's already about all of these things where there's gaps in the government and people can govern themselves. And what District 0x is, it's a coin that you can invest in right now, guys. And it's a network of decentralized markets, and it's cheap. A network of decentralized markets and communities that create, operate, and govern. And it's powered by Ethereum, Aragon, and IPFS. Look more into what this means, because you need to be educating yourselves on what all of this is, so that way we can start to make good decisions, and we don't have to sit there and wait for the SEC to regulate us, for the IMF to release cryptocurrencies that are going to replace the dollar. If we get on this fast enough, guys, then we won't need the dollar to be even replaced. It will just be like, hey son, do you remember those things that we used to spend called dollars? And he'd be like, yeah, Dad, I remember. It was pretty interesting. You guys used to like use paper, right? He'd be like, yeah. He'd be like, Dad, that's a horrible use of trees. I know, son. I know. We're trying our best. We got a long way to go. So that's the way that we need to be looking at this. And so we're going to be holding these types of coins, and that's going to be giving us our governance. District 0x is something that I really strongly